We're live. Antonio, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good to see you, man, bro.
Very nice to see
It's
you
been a
as
little
well.
while since we saw you.
Yeah, a couple months.
Yeah, that was a great show.
It was the highlight of my year.
It was a great show just talking with you, man. You're genuine. That's what I like about it. So it's totally cool.
that.
So I appreciate you coming by and stopping by our
Anytime.
booth here and just having a chat. I know you got here early. You got here like keen, man, really early.
I like to be early. I like to, especially because I know I don't want to ruin your schedule.
No. We had you booked in, man. Like when I reached out, I was like, I want you on the show. I want to get to stop by, but I wanted you to. Everybody knows that we're at the Canadian Concrete Expo, and then you had a chance to walk around. How's the show for you today, man?
I love it.
Yeah. You come every year?
Every year.
Yeah.
I've been to the World of Concrete show in Vegas about 4 or 5 times as well.
That's big.
It's huge. That's a little overbearing.
Yeah.
Like day 3, 4, but this stuff here, I just like to learn. So to come here and see, innovative tools and new materials, for me, I just feel like I'm tightening my game up if I come here.
How's the business right now?
It's good. The
So
weather's
we've been having
beautiful.
it. Yeah, I know, but snow's coming today.
Snow's coming today, and I've got some interior stuff lined up anyways for the next month.
Yeah.
So I'm good, but the weather's my guys have been happy about it.
Well, because it's a little easier, right? But I mean, it's not a traditional Canadian winter, right?
No, definitely. Even last year, I think I was talking to one of the guys just the other day, and they were saying that day that it was like 7-8 degrees, last year was minus 25, and we were outside at
Was that the difference from last year to this year?
on that same day. And I remember he was saying, like, last year we were doing that big commercial job outside, and we were frigid cold, and that day it was beautiful. I was in a t-shirt.
Antonio's here from Aqua Stop, waterproofing construction.
Yes.
What did you see here? Oh, no, hang on a sec. What's the IG again? Aqua Stop?
Aqua.stop.
Aqua.stop.
Yeah.
And then on the website again is www.aquastopwaterproof.com,
aquastopwaterproof.com.
right? And then an email to get a hold of you guys?
aquastopwaterproof@gmail.com.
At gmail.com, right? The crew's working away on job sites right now?
Yeah. They were gonna come here. I was gonna bring a couple of them, but I needed them to be where they needed to be today.
To get some work done?
Yeah,
Because cold temps are coming, man.
They're coming.
You know what? February is an interesting month because it's like it's that hump between like March starts to come in, and then all of a sudden you start realizing, hang on a sec, March is here, and that means spring's around the corner.
Yep.
That means birds are chirping. That means basically clients start chirping.
Yes.
The same time the birds start chirping, the clients start chirping.
Absolutely.
That you know it as the phone starts ringing.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you available next week? Are you available next week?
Yep.
You had all winter to think about this. You had all last year to think about this.
Yep.
But now you're thinking about it because it's gotten warmer.
Yeah, and
Doesn't
because
work like that.
the problems are coming now, right? So
Oh yeah.
everybody's rush, but they've had ample time. But we're some of them are good. We're booking ahead, but some of them, you get that call like, hey, can you get here next week? And you can't.
How do you ride that? Like, how do you ride that balance in the business? How do you do that?
You know what? It's hard to even plan something like that. You kind of have to make the decisions on the whim as it comes. So it all depends on who the client is too, what the job scope is. Like if it's like a little day job where I can go and really relieve that stress from them, I'll move some stuff around and we'll fit them in, especially if they're local.
Yeah.
But sometimes my hands are almost tied sometimes that I can't get in there as fast as I would like to for them. So
I get the sense, Antonio, that like every year you get probably a good sized lesson being taught.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? And I'm trying to figure out what's been the last few years, especially we had the funny years and now we're getting back into the swing of things, what people are calling normal days, but
Yeah.
it's still like construction days. It's just like, it's another construction day is what's going on.
Absolutely.
But what are some of the bigger lessons that you kind of came across and you're like, these are big lessons that we're learning now, but you're solving these lessons and you're moving the business forward, right?
I think one of the biggest things that I learned last year was just making sure that you take care of every customer the same way so that the word of mouth and referral base, I feel like it's huge in our industry. It's huge because you're either trusted or you're not.
Yeah.
So if you have
There's no gray.
There's no gray.
Yeah.
It's yes or no. So if you have a good referral base and you're taking care of those clients just like you would every other client the same way, and you treat that house like it's yours, I feel like a lot of clients can resonate with that and they'll see that, and then that word of mouth just becomes a better whole situation throughout the whole GTA. So that was a huge thing for me last year, just because when we first started, it was all, handing out flyers, handing out business cards, putting
Sales.
out ads. Yeah.
Sales. Yeah.
So now that I don't have to do that anymore, I learned that the referral base is what tightening that up gets you away from having to do those sales.
Is this like for your industry? I get the sense that if there's poor workmanship done at the start of a build,
Yep.
you have more work now.
Oh yeah, a lot more. Yeah, a lot more.
And if they build better, you would have less work to do.
I feel like I would have less work to do with relatively new construction.
Yeah,
But with
that's where I'm going with it.
Yeah. So like if the new construction, because we do a lot of, relatively new foundations that have severe problems. So if they tighten that up on that end, I would lose a little bit of business in the new construction field. But in those, 1920, 1930s homes that I specialize in,
it's always going to still
it's
be
always
there.
going to be there.
Yeah.
But I think poor quality workmanship, I think it just screws it up for everybody after every trade.
Like, what do you think, Antonio, that like it's unfortunate that I do love the older homes.
Yep.
Like, I love the older homes,
Me
right?
too.
I love the character of them. But, like stone rubble and just like old foundations, they were never designed for living dwellings. They were never designed for the purposes of what's going on today. But I'm still dumbfounded that there's so many homes that have not addressed the waterproofing part of that home structure. They just ignored it because maybe they don't spend all that time in the basement, right?
That could be part of it.
It could be the main reason why they're doing that.
Yeah.
But it's just like there's always going to be work on that end.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how they don't see the problems coming, I guess, unless we have a really wet winter and it turns into a wet spring.
Yeah.
And then they'll start seeing water come out of it anywhere. 'Cause
Everywhere.
Mother Nature will just penetrate that house.
Yeah.
And then they have major problems with that. So for the most part, I guess you tell a lot of clients, you guys have just been lucky.
Yeah.
The water's just gone around.
Either they've been really lucky, or they've just dealt with it lackadaisically.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, they don't spend a lot of time. But I'm trying to veer people towards start spending time in your basement. It's square footage in your house.
It's square footage, man.
You know what I mean? Like start really taking advantage of that. Especially if it's not a crawl space and you can walk in there.
Yeah.
Take advantage of it.
It makes sense to use it, right? And
Yeah.
also, like, I mean, it's the whole thing about legal basement apartments as well, too.
Yeah.
And you definitely want them to be bone dry, clean.
Yep. Oh,
because
yeah.
then the structure is just going to last that much longer. But I
sure.
guess it's like it's not the pretty stuff.
No.
So it's not the pretty stuff. So then it's hard for them to spend the dollar value because the thing is, you're not cheap.
No.
But you're practical, and the thing is, you need absolute need
Oh, yeah.
to do this.
It's mandatory.
I've told clients over and over, you get this done. If you don't get this done, you're going to have a major problem down the line.
Yeah.
And when I say major problem, it means that you're going to deal with like inches of water in your basement.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's going to happen
Yeah.
here. And then depending on what it is, if you turned it into a study for yourself, you turned it into a playroom, you turn it into a home theater, you turn it into all these extra areas of the house,
Yep.
and you don't have it properly waterproofed or taken care of, then that's all going to be destroyed.
Destroyed. And even like, let alone, the aesthetics being destroyed and all the money you have to spend to now fix that and rectify that. But if you have like even your own personal health, or you have kids in your house, the health risks that come with water,
Airborne.
It's-
The airborne, yeah.
it's that alone should be enough that even if you don't utilize the basement as much as you want to, make sure that it's dry, clean.
It's I love that you bring that up because you get a lot of I remember when it was my generation, they were all having kids, they're all growing up, right?
Yep.
What is it there? No, and they're all having their kids and everybody's getting ready, and then they're like, listen, my kid's not going to eat McDonald's, my kid's not going to touch this, my kid's going to be all pure organic, all this other stuff. And then you go into their basement, it's just like you smell that mold. You smell that mold, and you're like, your kid's going to have problems breathing is what your kid's going to have,
A lot
man.
worse than eating
While
McDonald's.
he's eating organic chicken. You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen. But they don't want to hear that.
No, they don't. And I don't know why they don't want to hear that. I guess it's maybe a little ding to their ego. I don't know why. But
Foundations, like everything's built off the foundation.
I feel like it's like just with everything in life, it's so vital. It's so important. The foundation is, for me, is the most important.
You look at it as if it's no different than a tile setter installing a beautiful tile.
That's right.
Right? Masons setting up their brick. You look at it the same way, cabinetry going into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like the fixtures, plumbing. You look at it the exact same way. And that's what I've always said, is that every trade should look at their trade the exact same way as so-called the rock stars of construction.
100%.
They're the ones that are like coming in doing all the finishing. Those are the ones where the designer and the homeowners and all the friends, they start showing up and going, oh my God, look how gorgeous that is. This is ready for Pinterest. This is ready for house. This is ready. You know what? I want to start seeing an Aqua Stop page on house where it's like all just pictures of your waterproofing over and over. I'm telling you, man, do it.
I think I should.
You should do it, because the thing is, like, that, I think, is the pretty stuff. I've always said it.
Especially when you're like meticulous with it,
yes,
and your membrane is tight,
yes,
and your top strap's straight.
Yes.
To me, it's still pretty.
Yes.
But I guess because I'm so used to seeing the ugly side of it, that when I do see the pretty side of it, I know that that's the pretty side. But I feel like maybe potential clients and customers, they can't distinguish the difference between the ugly and the pretty.
It's too easy for the bad contractors to do an easy bad job.
Yeah, very
like there's so
easy.
many points of details in waterproofing and fixing concrete repairs and all kinds of stuff,
yep,
that you could easily do a really crappy version of it.
Oh yeah,
and get away with it too.
Get away with it. That's
the homeowner won't know.
I have no idea.
They'll just like, yeah, I see the dimple board. Yeah, I see the top. Yeah, I see this. I see that. I'm like, well, there's nothing behind there. It's not. It's not parged. It's not cleaned. It's not. It's just. It's gonna leak.
It's gonna leak, and it's kind of sad that it is almost that easy to come in, do a really half-assed job, and then the client spending this money thinks that they just got an amazing job.
Yeah,
it's sad, and you know, I'm empathetic sometimes too. I hear these horror stories, and it's sometimes hard to deal with. You bring it home with you, but you know, I'm hoping that over the next 5 to 10 years, I can make a difference in that issue and kind of get those guys out of the picture. And I feel like it's slowly but surely it's happening.
I guess it starts with education of the clients, right? Because the thing is, like, I know when you were on the show earlier, like last year, it was like the Kijiji guys, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like the clients are still thinking that this category, this trade, this scope of work is Kijiji relevant.
Yeah.
Which is not. And I'll even argue there's almost every trade is not Kijiji relevant.
I don't think any trade is.
Yeah, you want to be a handyman or a handy person and
Cool.
you want to do some stuff, good. Go ahead and do that. But
Yep.
don't start selling certification. Don't start selling that this is like the way it should be done. Don't start selling any of that kind of crap, because that's not the case.
It's not the case, and I feel like it's confusing a lot of people.
Yeah.
But even I even see it on Instagram.
Really?
Oh yeah, I see like shitty work on Instagram every day. I don't say anything because
But you see it. That
see it.
someone did it and someone purchased it.
Yeah, I see it. I've even reached out to certain contractors that are like out of my local vicinity.
Yeah.
Who have used somebody else just for whatever reason, and I've let them know, like, hey, you know what? I think you should go and talk to your waterproofing contractor, and let them know that like the membrane's upside down.
You've seen that?
The top strap on the footing. So there's no top strap lip to put your termination strap. And in retrospect, like the membrane's still going to serve its purpose, whether it's upside down or not.
Of course, yeah.
But just to do it properly, it looks bad on you that you're posting that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird. Sometimes it's
I guess
really
it's
weird.
just lack of education or lack of wanting to know how to do the products properly, or even like coming to a trade show like this. Listen, man, in my early years of construction, I was always trade show. Every trade show came up, I was there because I wanted to talk to these people. I wanted to have a conversation with them. I wanted to say, I got this situation. Give me the answers associated with my situation.
You wanted to learn.
You wanted to learn. It was as simple as that. But it's like, I guess you don't see the majority of the Kijiji guys out there coming to trade shows or even inquiring, contacting companies about products that you hear about, learning who else is doing interesting things, either stateside or across the country, Canada-wise, or even in Europe. Like everybody, we all have foundation problems. I mean,
Everybody.
I mean, I guess there's a lot of homes out west or whatever that are all just on grade, but even grade has to be done a certain way, right?
For sure, even just for hydrostatic pressure.
Yeah.
Anything on grade still needs to be done properly.
But the majority of homes in the North American community, like the country, is majority it's basements.
Yeah.
There's basements, and there's lots of older homes.
Very old.
With basements that you really need a knowledgeable, experienced person handling this.
Yep.
You do not need a great salesperson selling this.
No.
That's not what this is about.
Not at all.
Right?
I feel like being able to sell is a good thing. It's needed, but you have to have the knowledge. I think you have to have the knowledge to be able to be a good salesman.
Yeah.
In my industry.
Yeah.
I feel. For sure, you have to be. I feel like the guys without that kind of knowledge, I feel like they'd feel very out of place at something like this. You know what I mean? I feel like maybe there's fear of being called out, maybe fear of asking the wrong questions because they're going to look like they're green or they just don't know. So I feel like they might be timid to come into things like this.
I agree with you.
You
I
know?
totally agree with you.
I really do.
Because they won't know what to ask,
They won't.
or if they do know what to ask, they won't want to hear the answer because it will contradict what they've been doing.
Exactly.
And so if someone keeps on pointing you in a direction where like it should be done this way, but you're not doing it that way, and you've been selling it to the clients for the last 5 years this way,
Yeah.
great. Then you're a wonderful salesperson.
Yes.
And you've convinced people to buy into your product, but it's improperly installed.
Yes,
And
very
then
much
it's
so.
like your scope, when you do it, it's supposed to be done. Like that's the unfortunate thing. There isn't much repeat after that. It's more or less like word of mouth. You'll get another client because you did such a good job on that client.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you never know. There might be other problems that you want to fix or something. Like it just depends. But the majority of the time, it's a one-time deal. You go there.
Time.
Right?
Or like, you know, especially if we're doing full perimeter, that customer's only going to see me once.
Yeah.
That's it. Once.
And that's how these guys are probably using that. The same way that you think about it is I got an opportunity to do really good work that one time. They're looking at it like, I got an opportunity to get this job, make the money.
Yeah.
It's less than what the other pros are charging, but I'll give them a 5-year guarantee and then I'll get out of here.
Yeah.
And then it'll fail.
Yeah, it'll fail. And then even still, are you like if that warranty is potentially breached in 3 years, are you
gonna back
warranting
it?
that?
Yeah,
You know
of
what I mean?
course
Are you
not.
really going back? You know, it human error happens, product failure happens. So, you know, the warranty is there for a reason, because even I myself, with my experience, I can make a mistake.
Of course.
But if I make a mistake, I'm going to rectify it.
And how you take care of it.
Of course. And I feel like that's the most important. It's nice to say 25-year warranty, but you got to really, really stand by that.
Yeah.
And if you don't stand by that, then what's the point of having it? Forget it. Don't even waste your time.
Where do you think clients should get their education from when it comes to anything to do with construction?
I feel like the best place is to talk to somebody who has that experience and that knowledge.
Yeah.
That's the best. Like Google, forget it.
No, that's you can type it in and it's gonna populate whatever you want it to populate.
Exactly.
Right?
So I feel like that's the way I learned, by just, you know, dealing with somebody who was experienced, knowledge in that, who was willing to teach me. I feel like that's the best way, even for a homeowner. And I have homeowners call me all the time to ask me 30 questions. Sometimes they don't even call me to go and price it. But I have no problem answering the questions, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna potentially help you and you go and choose so and so to do it, at least now you've got a little bit broader knowledge. Like, hey, you know what, Antonio kind of said this, and I'm not seeing that here. So maybe you're able to call them out before they really screw you over.
It's a good point
Yeah.
that you're offering that information. So they're kind of use it as a barometer, so they can compare it to other people that are going to
Yes.
come in and see if they're going to get the job as well too.
Yeah.
And I've always said it, that clients should look at 3 or 4 people.
I tell clients all the time.
The same.
I know I was referred to you.
Yeah.
Go get 3 more quotes.
Yep.
And if you have any questions, call me. But odds are, if a client does call me and keeps me on the phone for 10 minutes and asks me 20 questions, I typically get the job. That's just how it is.
It makes sense
It makes
because you're
sense.
answering all the questions.
Yeah, and because I'm probably giving them answers that, like, you can tell I'm not stumped on a question. You ask me a question, I'm going to give you the answer.
Yeah.
And an honest answer too. I feel like they appreciate that.
How's the year looking for you, man? Is it going to be a good year?
It's going to be massive.
It's going to be a busy year for
It's
you,
going to
eh?
be a big year.
No slowdown whatsoever?
None. I hope I get no sleep. No sleep.
You got to rest, man.
I do. I rest. You know, I rest here and there.
Yeah.
But I'm on go mode right now. There's some really big moves in the mix, in the works. Some
Good.
big collabs coming.
Good.
It's gonna be a huge year.
Good.
Massive year.
Good. I'm glad to hear that,
I
man.
appreciate
Honestly,
it.
man.
Thank you, man.
It's an absolute pleasure having you stop by the studio
Of
here.
course.
This little makeshift. We ripped everything out of the studio in Oakville there.
It's awesome.
Most of it, and then we just did this. But then we're out of here. So this is the second day that we're here. It's been fun doing this, and then we'll get back in the studio. We'll get you back into the studio this year.
Yeah,
as well, too,
anytime.
man.
Anytime you need me, I'm coming. I'm coming. there.
Totally, man. So, Antonio, thanks for stopping by. Aqua Stop, waterproofing and foundation, concrete construction, anything to do, anything with the grade down,
And yeah, below grade. Yeah.
below grade. But then you also have like a whole list of people that if any client comes to you and they go, listen, I need a kitchen person, I need a
100%.
framer, I need a tiler, I need like electrician,
Yeah.
I need all the kinds of people.
And
right?
guys that I vouch for, top tier.
Totally.
Top tier guys.
So any homeowners that are listening, like, listen, once you find a well-respected tradesperson that you like, they've done some work for you, they cared about it, you saw that they care about it,
Yeah.
then might consider keeping their phone on dial on your contact list, and all of a sudden reach out and go, listen, you have an idea about who I can look at for, this trade, that trade? Or
I get it all the time.
Yeah. Which is great. I get it all the time, which is great because I've interviewed all you guys.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I go like, listen, here's the list of guys and girls that I would recommend.
Guy to talk to,
I go,
man.
here you go. I'll vouch for them. I'll talk to them, and they'll give you a good price, and then they'll do a great job. So
You're the perfect guy to talk to for it.
Thanks, man. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the show. We're out of here, man.
Thank you.
That was great, dude.
That was awesome, man. That was awesome.
Thanks. Let's get it.